Hello everyone, I am Dr. Manas Kumar Das, Director, Orlean College of Pharmacy, Greater Noida. Today I will tell you about the basic principles of wound healing. The subject is pathophysiology and the subject code is BP 204T. Today's lecture number is lecture number 7. In the earlier lectures, we have already discussed about the cell injury, inflammation, signs of inflammation, types of inflammation, different etiology, the causes of inflammation. So, now we will discuss about the basic principles of wound healing. So, in this today's topic, we will discuss about on these following topics: the definition, wound healing phases in adults, stages of wound healing, sequence of events in primary union and sequence of events in secondary union. Primary union is also called as wound by first intention and secondary union is also called as wound by secondary union is also called by wound by second intention. So, complications of wound healing is the will be the last topic. Now, start with the definition. So, wound healing. Wound healing refers to a living organism's replacement of destroyed or damaged tissue by newly produced tissue. Healing means some repairing, some new tissue will generate, new cells will generate, that is called healing. So, wound healing refers to a living organism's replacement of destroyed or damaged. The tissues which are already damaged, that will be replaced by new tissues which are newly produced. Healing of skin wound provide a classical example of combination of regeneration and repair. If there is a wound in the skin, we can see there will be a new skin will develop and that is a combination of regeneration and repair. It will regenerate also and repair also. So, wound healing can be accomplished in one of the following two ways. What are the two ways? Healing by first intention, which is primary union, and healing by second intention, that is secondary union. Wound healing phases in adults. In adults, optimal wound healing should involve 4 continuous and overlapping phases. What are the 4 phases? Homeostasis, inflammation, proliferation and remodeling. These are the 4 phases which are involved in the optimal wound healing process in adults. Homeostasis, inflammation, proliferation and remodeling. So, first we start with the homeostasis phase. The process of the wound being closed by clotting, it happens very quickly. So, when there is a wound healing, there will be clotting. Okay. So, the process of wound being closed by clotting, it happens very quickly. Starts when blood leaks out of the body, then blood vessels constrict to restrict the blood flow. So, there will be clotting and when there is a cut, the blood will leak out. So, the blood vessels will constrict to decrease the loss of blood and it also bring the two end closer, which will be beneficial for the wound healing or blood clotting. The platelets aggregate and adhere to the subendothelium surface. We know the platelets are responsible for the clotting process. That is why when there is a dengue or some other disease, when the platelets go down, we immediately try to give the platelets from other donators, because platelet is a very important factor for blood clotting. So, platelet aggregates and adhere to the subendothelial surface within seconds of the rupture of a blood vessel's epithelial wall. So, within seconds platelet start aggregating. After that, the first fibrin begin to adhere in about 60 seconds. Fibrin, we know fibrin forms fibrin fibers. These are two type of fibrin fibers, one is soluble and one is insoluble. When the insoluble fiber forms, that forms like a thread and that tells there is a blood clotting. I think you have already studied all this blood clotting process, and you also have done practical of blood clotting in anatomy and physiology. So, you know how the fibrin, the fibers actually looks like, they looks like a thread, yellowish slight yellowish thread. So, that indicates the blood clotting and it appears within 60 seconds, around 60 seconds you can see the fibrin strands. As the fibrin mesh begins, the blood is transformed from liquid to gel through procoagulation and the release of prothrombin happens. It is again a clotting factor. The formation of a thrombus or clot keeps the platelet and blood cells trapped in the wound area. When there is a thrombus, the clot plug formation that will again trap the platelets and the other blood cells in this wound area, which in turn will help in the wound healing. Inflammatory phase begins right from the injury, when the injured blood vessels leak transudate. What is transudate? It is made of water, salt and protein, causing localized swelling. Inflammation both controls bleeding and prevents infection. This is the function of inflammation, because it is a defense mechanism, because it both controls bleeding and prevents infection. The fluid engorgement allows healing and repair cells to move to the site of the wound. During the inflammatory phase, damaged cells, pathogens and bacteria are removed from the wound area. Okay. So, in the inflammatory phase, these all things will be cleaned, the pathogens, damaged cells, bacteria will be cleaned or removed from the wound area. The white blood cells, growth factors, nutrients and enzymes create the swelling, heat, pain, redness commonly seen during the stages of wound healing. So, whatever the inflammation process we already studied in the last slides, last PPTs, these all the process we can see, all the stages like swelling, heat, pain, redness, the inflammatory stages you can see in the wound healing process also, because inflammation will occur here. Inflammation is a natural part of wound healing process and is only problematic if prolonged or excessive. So, inflammation is a natural part of wound healing process. So, when there is an wound healing process is going on, there will be inflammation also, but the problem occurs when there is a prolonged process or the excessive wound has been occurred, then there is a problem. Otherwise, inflammation will start and the healing process will appear. Proliferative phase, when the wound is rebuilt with new tissue made up of collagen and extracellular matrix. The wound contract as new tissues are built. The wound contracts as new tissues are built. So, when the new tissue is forming, the wound will start contracting. A new network of blood vessels must be constructed so that the granulation tissue can be healthy and receive sufficient oxygen and nutrients. So, before the tissue formation, a network of blood vessels must be constructed, otherwise new tissues will not get nutrition and oxygen supply. So, the new tissue again it will be damaged and necrosed. So, a blood vessels blood supply must be established before granulation tissue formation. Myofibroblast cause the wound to contract by gripping the wound edges and pulling them together using a mechanism similar to that of smooth muscle cells. So, the blood supply also forms as the granulation tissue appears, because it needs oxygen and nutrition. So, blood vessels form, then the myofibroblast cause the wound to contract, gripping the wound edges, the edges come closer, pulling them together, because until unless the edges of the wound come closer, the wound healing process will not be cannot be successful. Fourth one, in healthy stages of wound healing, granulation tissue is pink or red and uneven in texture. Healthy granulation tissue does not bleed easily. So, when the granulation tissue will form in the wound healing, these are pink in color and these are not even in texture, these are rough like texture. But if you see the healthy granulation tissue, that does not bleed easily. Dark granulation tissue can be a sign of infection. If the granulation tissue color is dark, that may be a sign of infection, ischemia or poor perfusion. Sixth one, finally, epithelial cells resurface the injury. Seventh, epithelialization happens faster when wounds are kept moist and hydrated. If the wound is dry, then the epithelialization will be slower. So, keep the wound moist and hydrated is also required for epithelialization. Generally, when occlusive or semi occlusive designs are applied within 48 hours after injury, they will maintain correct tissue humidity to optimize epithelialization. As humidity or moisture is required for a good epithelialization. Then come to the maturation phase, which is also called as remodeling stage. Collagen is remodeled from type 3 to type 1 and the wound fully closed. Collagen fibers remodeled and the wound is fully closed. The cells that had been used to repair the wound, but which are no longer needed are removed by apoptosis. The cells which are actually used and repair the wound, but which are no longer is required, that are removed by apoptosis. Apoptosis means programmed cell death, which I told you in the earlier PPTs, or programmed cell death. Longer needed are removed by apoptosis, which is also called as programmed cell death. The collagen laid down during the proliferative phase, it is disorganized and the wound is thick. The collagen laid down during the proliferative phase, it is disorganized and the wound is thick. Collagen is remodeled into a more organized structure along lines of stress, thereby increasing the tensile strength of the healing tissue, because tensile strength should be developed in the healing tissue, otherwise the formation of new tissue will not be sufficient to get a wound healing process complete. Fibroblast secrete matrix metalloproteinase. The enzymes facilitate remodeling of type 3 collagen to type 1 collagen. So, these are all the maturation phase, how the wound healing becomes mature. Generally, remodeling begins about 21 days after an injury and can continue for a year or more. So, see that it actually depends on the type of wound, how the severe is wound. So, the remodeling begins about 21 days after an injury and can continue for a year or more. Even with cross linking, healed wound areas continue to be weaker than uninjured skin, generally only having 80% of the tensile strength of unwounded skin. That is very important. So, it is very important to know that if the heel is if the wound is held properly also, then also only the maximum 80% tensile strength of that particular wound area can be achieved, not the 100% of the normal skin. So, this is the wound healing, how the wound healing happens. There is the blood vessels here, fibroblasts are present here, macrophages are present here, fibroblast proliferation is there. See, this is the bleeding, blood clot, you can see here, inflammation is there, scab, this is proliferation, this is remodeling, freshly healed epidermis, this is freshly healed dermis. Healthy wound healing involves fibroblast, the main connective tissue cells present in the body, and macrophages which form in the response to infection. So, that is a wound healing process, it has been shown here. This is a sequence of events in primary union. This is also called as first intention. The sequence of events in primary union is illustrated. First stage is initial hemorrhage. Immediately after injury, the space between the approximated surface is filled with blood, which then seals the wound against dehydration and infection. So, dehydration and infection is not a good sign of wound healing. So, it should always be hydrated and moist. Acute inflammatory response occurs within 24 hours with appearance of polymorphs from the margins of incision, then by third day replaced by macrophages. So, first the polymorphs will appear within 24 hours, then on the third day it will be replaced by macrophages, that is the acute inflammatory response. Next come to the epithelial changes. The basal cells of epidermis from both the cut margins start proliferating and migrate towards incisional space. Well proximated wound is covered by a layer of epithelium in 48 hours. In 5th day, a multi-layer new epidermis is formed, which is differentiated into superficial and deeper layer. So, this is a epithelial change happens in the primary union. In the third point, you can see the basal cells of epidermis from both the cut margins. So, if there is a wound, there will be two cut margins, one is here and one is here. So, from the two cut margins start proliferating and migrate towards incisional space. This is the incisional space. Well proximated wound is covered by a layer of epithelium in 48 hours. In 5th day, a multi-layer new epidermis is formed, which is differentiated into superficial and deeper layers. Organization. By 3rd day, fibroblasts also invade the wound area, and by 5th day, new collagen fibrils start forming. In 4th week, the scar tissue with small cellular and vascular elements appear. This is the organization, how it happens in the wound healing process. So, by the 3rd day, you can see fibroblast also invade the wound area. Fibroblast will come in the wound area, and by 5th day new collagen fibrils start forming. So, you can find out the new collagen fibers from the 5th day onwards. And the 4th week, means about in 1 month, the scar tissue with small cellular and vascular elements appear. Next come to the point suture track. So, suture means like we use in the stitching, we commonly tell as stitching. So, one stitch, 2 stitch, 3 stitch, we tell like this, the person has got 4 stitches. So, each suture track. So, that is a tracking of suture like this, binding knot. So, each suture track is separated wound. So, each suture track will be counted as a separated wound. Sometimes the suture track gets infected or the epithelial cells may persist in the tract. So, this is the suture tract wound. You can see here, this is the homeostasis, this is the inflammation, this is the proliferation and this is the remodeling. These are the stages of wound healing. So, number A, this one clot, you can see here clot, this is scab, this is red blood cell, this is platelets. All you can see here. In the inflammation, this is the homeostasis, when the normal blood is functioning. You can see all the things, clot, scab and because of the homeostasis, this much we can see. In the inflammation process, macrophage, neutrophil. This see you can see here, it is visible here, and in the proliferation you can see granulation tissue has come, fibroblast has come, myofibroblast has come. These things have been occurred here. In the proliferation phase, remodeling phase, they are collagen fibers. So, this is the wound healing and repair process stages. The healing of a wound having the following characteristics: open with a large tissue defect, at times infected, having extensive loss of cells and tissues, and in C, the wound is not approximated by surgical sutures, but is left open. So, the healing of wound having some characteristics, either it is open with a large tissue defect, at times infected, having extensive loss of cells, heavy severe wound, or the wound is not approximated. These are no areas are not very much closer, surgical sutures are not fixed properly and left open. Sequence of events in secondary union. Initial hemorrhage. As a result of injury, the wound space is filled with blood and fibrin clot which dries. Inflammatory phase. Initial acute inflammatory response followed by appearance of macrophages which clear off the debris as in primary union. Next, third one is the epithelial change. As in primary union, the epidermal cells from both the margins of the wound proliferate and migrate into the wound in the form of epithelial spurs and reepithelize the gap completely. This is the wound. So, that will fill the gap completely. Pre-existing viable connective tissue is separated from necrotic material and clot on the surface, forming scab which is cast off. Cast off means it has gone off. After some time, the regenerated epidermis becomes stratified and keratinized, means the normal skin color, normal shape and texture will appear. So, this is the epithelial change. Then the granulation tissue. Granulation tissue is formed by proliferation of fibroblast and neovascularization. Neo means new vascularization from the nearby viable elements. Newly formed tissues is fragile and deep red. After some time, the scar becomes pale and white. If there is a wound, you can see scar tissue. First, they are like different in color. After some time, they become pale and white due to increase in collagen and decrease in vascularity. So, after some time, the wound will become some pale and whitish, because the vascularization of this particular area will be decreased after some time. In the beginning, there will be heavily vascularization, blood circulation. So, after that it will be decreased. So, that color will be converted to white or pale white color, pale color. Wound contraction, it is only seen in secondary union, not in primary union. Due to the presence of myofibroblast, the wound contracts to 1/3 to 1/4 of its original size. Presence of infection, bacterial contamination of an open wound delays the process of healing due to release of bacterial toxins that actually provoke necrosis, suppuration. Suppuration means like pus formation and thrombosis. So, bacterial contamination is not required in the healing process. It actually delays the healing process of an open wound, delay the process by release of bacterial toxins, which will actually provoke necrosis, suppuration and thrombosis. So, these are the different, see the clots. Here you can see the blood clot, then you can see the granulation tissue here, then you can see scab and this is the scar. See here the A, B, C, D. So, where is what in the A diagram we can see blood clot, in the B we can see the scab which has been formed, is like a cover of this wound area. Then in the C we can see the granulation tissue formation, and in the D we can see the scar formation. So, we can just sequentially we can study the events of the secondary union: initial hemorrhage, inflammatory phase, then epithelial changes, then granulation tissue, then in the when the granulation tissue will be formed, then the collagen fibers will be formed, vascularization will be decreased, then the wound will be contracted and the presence of infection can cause the delay of wound healing. Then the complications of wound healing. What are the different complications of wound healing? There are some points I have noted here. Infection, what I already told you, there is some infection, bacterial infections, these will release toxins and it will delay the wound healing process. Implantation, cyst, pigmentation, deficient scar formation, then incisional hernia, hypertrophied scars and keloid formation, excessive contraction and neoplasia. These all are the different kind of factors which can complicate the wound healing. Thank you.